everybody, it's JD, and today we're going to be making something really special and I'm really excited to show you guys. Today we're going to be making donut holes. So that's like the little circle donuts, and they're going to be cinnamon flavored. All the recipes you need is some biscuits, and then you can either use like cinnamon and sugar and mix it together, or you can just buy cinnamon sugar. And then you're going to need some butter. Alright, and I have a fancy cutting board right here, and I have this little pan that I'm going to put all the donut holes in when I'm ready, and I have 2 bowls ready for me. Alright, so, and I've already washed my hands. Make sure you guys wash your hands before so they're nice and clean and ready to make food. So I'm going to show you guys what you need to do. First off, you're going to get this thing of biscuits, and you're just going to break it open. You can almost hit it on something or twist it or pop it with your thumbs. And eventually it should pop. Oop, there it goes. Alright. So now that your biscuits have popped open, you're just going to lay them out like this onto the cutting board. Like so. Just like that. And then this, I'm just going to toss in the trash. Made it. Alright. Now, you're going to get each of your biscuits and kind of separate them like this. They're kind of like little patties, alright? And you're just going to want to lay them out all across your cutting board. Just like this. Alright, and we're going to lay them all out on the cutting board. And then, once they are all laid out, excuse me, we'll be good to go. And we're actually going to get just a little knife, and for each of the biscuits we're going to cut it into 4 pieces. Alright, you kind of cut like a little plus right down the center. Alright, so you just keep cutting that plus, whoops, down with the biscuits, just a little plus sign. Alright, and now that we are done with that, you don't need the knife anymore. You can just set it in the sink to wash for later. And you have all of your biscuits cut into 4 pieces. Up next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab the little piece that you cut. You're just going to want to roll it up into a little ball. It's a tiny little ball, and you're going to do that for each piece. You just roll them up into a ball. And for some of these balls, when you roll them, if they're a little bit smaller, like this, what you can do is you can get 2 of them and roll them up. If they're both small, you can just put them together and roll them together. And then you'll have a bigger ball that'll be better for a donut size. Okay, so now that I have all of the biscuits lined up and they're in kind of like a row, I'm gonna go ahead and get my first bowl out, and actually I'm going to grab that knife again, and we're going to use about half the stick of butter, so about 4 tablespoons. Alright, so we're just going to get the knife and be very careful and just cut right down the center of the stick. Alright, so now it's in half. You can set that other half to the side for later. And we're gonna go ahead and unwrap the stick like so, and then we're gonna stick it in our bowl. Alright, and then what you're gonna want to do is microwave the bowl with the butter in it for you should go about 15 seconds with a spoon, and then just keep mixing it and wait until it's fully melted and just liquid butter. So I'm gonna go do that right now. Alrighty, so now that I have my butter and it is pretty liquidy, I'm just going to leave the knife in there that I used to stir it. And now we're going to move to our cinnamon sugar. So we're going to get our other bowl out. And while you're doing this, about halfway through, you're going to want to start preheating your oven. so that it can be ready to bake when you're ready. And this is brand new, so I'm going to go ahead and open the lid here. Alright. And then the caps normally have little holes in it that you are going to use to like sprinkle stuff on, but we're not going to sprinkle it, we're actually just going to pour it right into the bowl. Alright. And it should fill the bowl up pretty well. I used about maybe 3/4 of this cinnamon sugar. So if I need to use more, I'll have it ready, but I'm going to save some for later, just in case I need it. So now, up next, what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to grab your pan. Now, this is a non-stick pan, so I don't need any cooking oil or butter in it. But if you don't have any non-stick pans, you're going to want to melt just a little bit of butter and kind of just spread it around on the inside of the pan. Or if you have a cooking oil, you can just spray it inside the pan. Alright. I'm going to kind of set this on the edge here. And we're going to start getting these and just dipping them into the butter and then dipping them into the cinnamon. And you can use a spoon or you can use your hands, depends on how messy you want to get. Alright, so we're going to start on that. Alright, so now that I'm about halfway through these donuts, you can see I am about halfway in the pan. I've got a couple left. I don't think I'll fill the pan all the way up, which is okay. And I'm also running out of cinnamon sugar, so I'm going to use the leftover and put it back in there. My hands are a little dirty, so I got to use one hand. And I'm just going to dump the rest in there, just like that. And that should keep the rest of them. Alright. Then while I'm finishing up the rest, I'm going to go ahead and set my oven to 350 degrees. Alright, and that's going to start preheating, so when I'm done with this, the oven should be ready and I can just stick them right in there. Alright, so I had 2 left and I ran out of cinnamon. So there was a little bit cinnamon left in the butter, and there was a little bit cinnamon that I could just scrape off the sides in the bowl. So these are going to be 2 plain-ish donuts inside of the tray. I'm going to wash my hands really quick and then wait for this oven to finish preheating and we can go ahead and put it in there. So the oven is ready, it's at 350 degrees, so I can set this to the side for now. And I've got my donut holes here. I'm gonna set it in here and we're gonna put it in there for about, I'd say 18 minutes. But I would say every maybe 5 or 10 minutes you should check on it just to see how it's doing. And you can get like a butter knife and kind of poke it just to see how soft it is or how hardened it is. You can just poke at one of them to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this in there and set a timer, and then I'll be back when they're done. Alright everybody, so the timer went off. We're gonna grab this knife and we're gonna poke the center and just see if it's ready yet. They seem pretty solid, I would say. But there's still a little doughy in the center. Still a little bit of dough in the center of the donut. So I'm gonna set it in there for maybe 2 more minutes and then they should be ready to go. So I'll be back then. Alright everybody. So I had to leave them in a little longer than that 2 minutes that I checked on them, but they are ready now and the center is a good solid. It's a little soft still, but it's not too hard. And the outsides are a little more solid, but they're still pretty good. So I'm gonna let this cool off for about 5 minutes, and then we can set them on a plate, and we're gonna have a couple people test them out.
All right.
We have Joshua, and we have Liz. So go ahead and try them. You can take
Just
them
take
off
one
the
right
plate,
here?
or you can scoop one off. It's up to you.
Take one. Ready? High five. Not bad.
It's pretty
Whoa, whoa.
tasty.
Whoa.
Like them? Yeah. Go
Can I
ahead.
have the recipe?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
It's really good. And it was pretty simple too. Just a couple ingredients.
This is tasty.
Wow.
Alright, well I hope you guys can enjoy this recipe at home and be safe with it and just enjoy it. And I love you guys and we'll see you later.